a young Jack trying to get his comic book out and utilizing what you're doing with crowdfunding, and maybe decide to want to try to go to a Comic-Con to do it, rent a table, do the whole 9 yards. I mean, do you think that's something that would be lucrative? Do you think it'd be beneficial that would help you if you did it during a campaign to get those extra people on board to support your Kickstarter, or do you think it would be kind of a wash or a waste? What do you think about that?
If you think about what doing these books are, you're doing your best to build an audience, and you can build an audience multiple ways. You can build it obviously through in-person interactions. You can build it through electronic social media, etc., with the idea that you're building an audience. So I've been doing independent comics and conventions for 12 years now, and it has definitely changed. And I would say the convention scene, especially, all evidence that I've seen in the last year would point to it being worse in that the sales are down across the board and the costs are up. And the costs are up for us as exhibitors, costs are up for the attendees, which means they have less money and so on and so forth. Me personally, I won't stop doing conventions because I enjoy them, but what I'm looking at is doing less shows in general, and then also I'm cutting out the multi-day hotel urban shows because years ago some of those shows could be incredibly lucrative, and now they've become incredibly expensive with lower returns, and the cost and the time make it really not worth it unless you lived in the town. You lived in Philadelphia, doing an urban show in Philadelphia, that would track for me because it's where you live. Until things are demonstrably different, I don't want to do multi-day urban shows because the hotels are more expensive, the parking is more expensive, etc., etc. The juice isn't worth the squeeze, if that makes sense. Would I advise a new creator to still do shows? Yes, with the caveat I would stay closer to home with shorter shows,
right?
Because there is still value in getting out, but should you be spending $800 or $900 to go away for a weekend? That might be ill-advised because you might go and make $300, and then it's like you just lost money to meet a handful of people. I would also say that you still can crowdfund, you can still build an audience, right? I don't want to be that cold-heartedly cynical, but I think you're walking into an environment now that is oversaturated and has strong financial headwinds, and I would say the one strength that I've got is I built up a very solid, loyal audience of core fans that I think they're going to be the ones that drive this campaign. It may not be so much new people that's all post on social media, which isn't to say if you are a new person say, well, what about me? I would love to have you, but I think with the way things are now, building a new audience from scratch is going to be very difficult, even though new fans are obviously incredibly important to grow an audience. But I think what I've seen in the first couple of days of this campaign is it is a lot of the fans that have been there for quite some time, my core fans, so to speak, and they're incredibly valuable, and they've been very difficult to accumulate over the years. They represent a lot of in-person, online interactions for many years, good customer service, good conversations, and genuinely trying to make friends and building friendships with a lot of people. Then there's a challenge of losing them, where people may lose interest, or they may, in some cases, we've had a couple fans of mine pass away, so building an audience is not static because people can transition out. So that's kind of my take on it, and it has been a successful Kickstarter to date, but that's that's my hot take on it. It's I knew there was economic headwinds, and I was hoping I had done enough work to get around them, but I'll keep working every day for the rest of the campaign to get the people out.
Thank you for watching and your support. Find us on YouTube at Cthulhu Jack Presents. We are also now on Rumble.